Okay. Now, can you suggest me how can I upload it? How can I make it in the presentation mode, Usha ji? Okay, friends. So we are going to discuss about the activities to training event, which is to be launched by the trainer or the agency of the training. And here we discuss that the basic objective of this unit is to prepare the list of activities and prepare a checklist for meticulous planning and implementation of training programs. See what happens if you do not plan well in advance, it becomes difficult to get the success of the training program. And for that purpose, we have to discuss about various aspects of the implementation part, as how to run the dry program. Dry run means well in advance, dummy program is to be run so that we can get the feedback. Simultaneously, we have to talk about the pilot programs to be launched. How can we roll out the training program? And if during the course of time, how can we break the ice? That is, ice breaker activities are there to be undertaken for the program. And we have to talk about the first impression to be created in minds of the people. Such things are there which are to be taken care of. And here we talk about the basic checklist, which is to be prepared well in advance, as what is the pre-training and the post-training. That is how the implementation part is to take place. So here, basically, we are talking about managing the training activity, how the training activity can be undertaken so that we can make the impactful assessment of these activities. So I will be sharing certain PPTs, which will be helping us to understand. Yes. Yes. Management of training will be talking about various types of activities like dry run, pilot project. The participants are creating the problems of the situations. We have to deal with these difficult participants. We have to talk about the feedback and monitoring activities, post-training activities with reference to trainees, coordination with trainers, conducting the training program successfully, positive first impression of the training, and question answer sessions. So this will be the flow of our discussion. Now, to start with, we have to talk as how the training activities is to be implemented. Before we launch the real time training activity, we have to talk about the implementation part. As 2 months before commencement of the training activities, how can we visualize and how can we anticipate the activities? We have to identify the program date. We have to identify the site of the site for the size, ambience, ventilation, heat, furniture, lighting sort of thing. That is the environmental issues which are there, which we have to take care of. We have to talk about the transportation needed for the participants. Parking space. If it is not, we have to ensure that it is done. And simultaneously, the moment we develop the workshop announcement of the flyer, we have to take care of the good display of the flyer so that it can be communicative to the audience. We have to outline the subjects covered as we discussed that in the agenda. These are the points which will be discussed in the presentation. So we have to highlight what are the activities to be undertaken for the particular training episode. Around 1.5 months before the program is launched, we have to talk about the communication. We have to email to the individuals in the target group. We have to talk about the supervisor concern of the participants. We have to talk about the information on the web page or the website of the organization, insert the announcement, and we have to get the confirmation of the participants. And around 1 month or so, rather 1 week to 1 month in advance, we have to think about the exact picture must be clear about the participants, their acknowledgement with reference to the information like their name, designation, or their background, so that these things can be shared with the concerned trainer or the teacher, so that the information can be analyzed with reference to designing the program. 1 or 2 days before the program date, we will also have to discuss about the training kit, the contents, the deliverables which is to be delivered to the participants. We have to talk about the handouts, roster of the participants, the information about the residential accommodation, and on the day of the program, we will have to go for minute-to-minute, last-minute arrangements. The room is to be checked well in advance, whether the operating system is there or not, whether this public address system, PA system is working or not, whether the sitting arrangement has been proper, whether the cleanliness has been ensured. And the moment we implement the program, we will have to go for following the program during the course of action. We will have to ensure the attendance of the participants, create a trend analysis or the reaction sheet information as how the expectations can be visualized and how can we simply understand the expectations of the people. If there is any negative comment of the participants, we have to talk about, and at the end of the day, when the training is over, we have to go for photography of the participants. We have to go about the redressal of the feedback. We have to go about the reactions, and that is the way that we have to make the redesigning the program for the future course of action. So today we will be talking about various activities. So first activity is the dry run. Dry run, in fact, is the test of the training program which is to be launched. A testing process before implementing the actual. I mean, when there will be a trial of the program, and that trial can be with selected people, or it can be videographed, and we can get the feedback as how the impact making the program will be. It is intended to test the possible areas of failure. See, before it really gets failure, we have to get the first information. If in case of failure, we can understand that what type of corrective actions can be taken. Then we have to go for mitigation can be planned. Some sabotages may be there, some problems may be there. So we can mitigate the same issues well in advance. It creates understanding as how the flow of the activities will be taking place, integration of the activities in the tools. See, during the course of training, various activities, various games are to be used, and the tools which are to be used. Then we can simply say that there is no possibility of the rehearsal of the same training activity. So this dry run will be helping us to go for the rehearsal activities. Trainers become spontaneous and free from the contents. That is, whenever the things will be delivered, the trainers will be friendly, and immediately they will be reactive, and they will be free with reference to the contents, and leads to better transfer of learning. That will be helping us to go for understanding. Here, the purpose of the dry run is to conduct it before actual delivery by the trainer. So for the first time, the trainer may be delivering the things to the audience. But before that, if we go in the first information, it will be known to the trainer. So it is not the actual delivery, but in advance, the contents of the actual delivery can be known. Important even for the online program. Online programs needs, though it is spontaneous and online, but we have to be quite careful, say as what is the system. There may be some technical glitches. So these glitches can also be sorted out. Time management can be very effective. Say, for instance, if the 1.5 hours training program is there, how the time management is to be managed in such a manner that all the ingredients can be calculated, can be incorporated. Determine the value and clarity of various elements. We can understand that there are topics, certain issues which need to be discussed independently and in detail. So we can understand the value to be given for the particular elements of the understanding. Then identify and correct delivery problems. See, many times you find that first-hand information can be redressed as how the delivery mechanism is to be developed. The first-hand information, because it is not the participants. If it can be presented to the organizers, it can be presented to the fellow participants. So they will be issuing their concerns that this is the way the things have to be delivered. Meaning thereby, the first-hand information can be delivered before it is handed over to the learners. So we can get the feedback from a limited group of persons, and that will be helping us without any lacunas to be witnessed in the due course of time. It works through the timing issues. Timing is quite important. So the timing can be managed. Sometimes more extensively information is to be given, or it can be minimized. So it will be helping us for the time management. Then make sure the training is ready for the delivery. Many times you find certain missing gaps are there. So we can incorporate if the missing gaps are there and refine the training to eliminate any major glitches when it is implemented. Then we can also talk about the way it is to be followed. The dry run basically is the approach that makes trainer to work at his her own pace, because the pace, the pitch, the speech or the speed, all things depends on the trainer. So according to their dry run, trainer can get the information and the approach can be adopted. The disadvantage as on one actually engages in receiving the contents, no one to bounce ideas off. Suppose any idea is to be generated, and if it is it bounces back, then it may be negative impact on part of the trainer, on part of the training activity. So if one actually engages, it is better to understand well in advance in the trial basis. Basically, dry run is nothing but the trial of the training activity. Experienced trainers are fine with this approach. Many times you find that freshers may definitely fumble, but experienced trainers are also benefited because of this, dry run activity. New trainers need someone to give the feedback. The new trainers will also be given the feedback by a limited group of the people. So that way, it will be quite helpful if you really run the training program. Dry run can be with external professionals who are really experts in the training activities. Feedback form is given to the external professionals is of immense use. That is, we can get the feedback from the professionals who know the nitty-gritty of the training activity. This feedback will be adding value to the real-time training activity to be followed in the due course of time. Corrections and modifications are possible, and it builds confidence of the trainer. Dry run with the stakeholders. It means that many times we have to explain to the clients, to the customers, to the organizations, to the corporates, as how the things are to move in our training activity. A feedback from other holders is also of immense help. Feedback may not be very clear, but still it will be helping us to give a shape, give a reshape to the training activity. Feedback might be overwhelming, but not be of some help. So that we will find that feedback to the stakeholders will be of immense use. There are certain rules which are to be followed. The rules are setting ground rules and goals would facilitate quality feedback. We should know who are going to give the feedback, the professionals who are to be invited. There are certain people from the group, like HR professionals or the technical experts who will be sitting there can give the feedback, and some missing links will be there that is to be added in the form of feedback. So that way helping us that the ground rules and the goals must be clear, that dry run is for getting the feedback beforehand, and we can make the corrections. Goal is to receive feedback on the delivery of contents, because the contents which are to be delivered should be enriched. The mode of delivery or the style of the delivery may be different issue, but the contents are to be rich enough to be effective for the learning activity. put in learner's shoe and understand from the learner's perspective. We have to develop the empathy as how the learners will be responding in terms of the learning. Because unless the learning is taking place, will be difficult. So we have to feel the pinch of the learner as how the learners will be reacting in case we are to go for such type of training contents. Be sure of learning objectives. While dry run is on, we have to be quite sure about the learning objectives of the particular content. Emphasis is to own the training. Whatever training is to be delivered by the concerned trainers must be owned by the trainers, because training activity may not be handled by a single trainer, but a group of multiple trainers will be associated, and in that situation we have to understand whosoever delivers, it should be owned by the concerned trainers. And in totality, the multiple trainers may not be held accountable, but all the trainers will be treated as the unit. So the entire training program is to be treated as the unit, and the role must be clear to the agency or to the chief trainer of the program. No interruption in between, meaning thereby let participants reserve their comments till module is completed. Many times you find that like participants are free to raise questions, but here in this dry run, the basic rule is that it should not be interrupted by the feedback to be given by the professionals or the people around. So let the presentation be given in the dry run first, then the comments can be given in the feedback. Use of all technical facilities, gadgets, aid is planned. Whatever we have got mind in terms of delivery, the same gadgets, same technical facilities, same aids are to be used in the dry run so that we can understand if any glitches are there. Record the dry run and reflect back by watching recording. Recording will be quite helpful to us to understand the lacunas. So all these were the things which were a temporary demonstration of the training program, which is now followed by the pilot program. Pilot program is nothing but a small scale version of the training that is launched before the program officially launches. See, when thousands and thousands of the people are to be trained, in place of launching the program, we can get the program for the small number of people. Dry run is for the demo, and the pilot program is for a small group of people as the representative of the participants, who again will be helping us to give the feedback on the program. Pilot program can shed light on the issues like user experience, contents, relevance, and the formats. Many times, say for example, if we start with one group of people, that feedback will be helping us to launch the program for subsequent thousands of the people in the group. Usually it is conducted after dry run. Dry run is the demo. Pilot program is for the small size of the participants, so that is to be used. It can also give us insights into how the process goes and answer, is the course engaging? Because we can simply get the feedback on the pilot program if we get the engagement of the learners. How are instructors doing? That is, the instructors must be engaged in delivering the things, because many times you find that missing gaps will be there, and instructors are helpless in settling the confusions, settling the disturbances, settling the issues in the presentations. So they will be quite comfortable if it is known to them in the pilot program. Is the difficulty level is appropriate for participants? Many times you find that the participants may find it difficult to understand. So we have to understand that the difficulty is to be resolved during the course of the pilot program, so that the impact can be visualized in the due course of time. The benefits of the pilot program is that it saves cost and time. We can go for ramifications, remedify. We can go for changes. The choice validation means the whatever choice we have made about the contents, about the trainer, or about the physical environment, it can be validated if the pilot program is launched properly. It looks like a real program, though it is beginning of the program, and it gives the real feedback on the program. It provides the real feedback, sparks new opportunities. If improvement is needed, we can go for improvising the thing. Validates your initial assumptions. It will validate the assumptions, because when we design the program in a room, we visualize many assumptions, initial assumptions. So that can either be validated, or if need be, we can reshape the assumptions. Pilot program is to be implemented through a strategy, and the strategy can be the selecting the participants. In the pilot program, there will be limited number of the participants, that there should be a right number of people which is needed in the group. Subject experts must be the appropriate. The content developers must be the same appropriate. Learners with and without learning experiences. Let there be a mixed group. Some participants may be having experience, some may not be having experience, and the program administrators who will be implementing this program must also be present in the participation of the activity. So the first strategy part is that we have to select the participants. Number two, beware of inviting co-workers and friends to a pilot program. The pilot program may not get the feedback if we are involving the friends. They will always be talking of goody things. So the co-workers or the friends should be avoided in the pilot program. The real type of participants or the learners must be there. If they are the stakeholders, they should be involved at the beginning. If they are the stakeholders, they should be involved in the beginning, not at the end. Because right from beginning, we can understand how the program has been launched, started, and carried away. So the people must be there from the beginning. This can lead to missed deadlines and extra expenses of rewrites when the writing phase is over. Wrong pilot group can give false information. It is the learning value for us. If the information received in the pilot group, then the entire training program may be lost. Mistakes generally made in this pilot group are various. Like their pilot group was too small, only about 5 people. Ideally, 20 to 30% are there in the group for the learning in the small setting. And if there are only 4 or 5 persons, then the pilot group will be too small to give the feedback. And if it becomes more critical when the friends are sitting there, they will not give the right feedback. Although the training program was meant for people new to that material, they invited people who were veterans in the role with up to 25 years of experience. We are interested in imparting the training for various types of people, ranging from 0 experience to 25 years experience. So that will be giving the real feedback from the new learners as well as the established learners. In case the pilot group is having all the persons with high experience, then definitely their understanding, their level of learning will be altogether different than from the new freshers. So that will create problem. This feedback dominated the evaluation forms because they only had the handful of the participants. Yes, a limited feedback will be there. The third issue is about the difficult participants. Who are the difficult participants? The difficult participants are those people, those participants who may create problem, create disturbances, because the trainer will be going in the flow of presenting the things as per design, as per pre-planned activities, like certain exercises are there, certain games are there, certain caselets are there. So, but the difficult participants may create problem because of different connotations. Why? We'll be discussing later. But the difficult participants are the argumentative. They may challenge others' ideas and opinions and may be confrontational in their communication style. Whenever there is an argument, then it will be opposed by some argumentative people, and it will not be the befitting reply by the participants. So argument, many times you find that arguments may not yield any positive thing, but it will be quarrelsome activities which may take shape. Domineering means whenever the discussion takes place among the participants, there are some people who will be dominating the scenes, dominating conversation, interrupting or talking over others to ensure their voice is heard. The experienced people, more experienced people, the nuisance mongering people, always creating the dominance in the group, and that may create problem that since they know everything, there is no need for teaching this topic to the group. So that will create the problem. Passive aggressive is one of the participants who generally find the difficult participant may express disagreement or disapproval indirectly using sarcasm, backhanded compliments, or other subtle tactics. Some people are there in the participants who do not look like aggressive, but basically by passing certain sarcasm and some negative remarks, they create the obstacles in the training program. Closed-minded means maybe resistance to new ideas, perspectives, or feedback, preferring to rely on their own assumptions, belief. I can cite certain examples when we were in the beginning phase of understanding the computing activities. Many people who were close-minded, they opposed the computers that it may create problems. It will be, snatching jobs to the tune of citing that computers will be creating importance among the people. So these were the arguments, and close-minded people avoided to go for any type of training. Or they used to say, oh, we have already gone for the training, we know everything. It is better ask our general managers, ask our seniors to come for this training program. We are well versatile. So these type of circumstances will be, negative connotations which will be creating obstacles in the participation. Then disruptive, difficult participants may engage in distracting behavior such as fidgeting, checking their phones, or making noise during meetings or the discussion. You can also witness there are still many people who disrupt by using the phone call, moving here and there, and making noise so that the trainer cannot be heard or understood by the people. Uncooperative, they refuse to participate in group activities or tasks, or may actively resist attempts to collaborate to work together. They are not cooperative. So this uncooperative attitude can also create the problem. Because the training activities with reference to the cooperation, we can indulge into the exercises, into the activities, so that may not be reaped, that benefit cannot be reaped if there is not cooperation from the participants. Hostile, may exhibit aggressive or confrontational behavior, including verbal attacks or physical intimidation. And especially, we have to be very, very careful when the fair gender is to be seen among the participants, because sometimes the hostility may prevail because of showing the aggressive tone. Just because of the confrontational behavior of the people become hostile. Many times the arguments are not productive, and the counter arguments are given just to create the ruckus in the system. Defensive, this may be quick to take offense or perceive criticism where none was intended, becoming defensive and argumentative in the response. Various types of difficult participants are there. The complainer participants, always complaining. There you can find many people who always stand in the queue of complaining. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा, the training is of no use, we have already gone through the training, it is our seniors who has sent us here for passing the buck, they should have been there. Such type of complaints will be there from the participants. Talkative participants, the participants cannot keep calm, they always indulge into gossiping, talking, and creating the murmuring, so that may create the problem. Fighter or arguer participants, yes, whenever even the voice is not in the proper manner, and they will be, hitching, hiding certain things and arguing in the roughest manner. Withdrawer participants, some people are withdrawing themselves in the discussion, in the participation, and they seem to be passive. They are not interested. So that's why when we send our participants for the training, we have to understand that who is likely to retire after 2 months, what is the fun of sending that person for the training activity? And the person who is already suspended or indulge into the non-serious activity, then we should avoid such type of participants. Unconsciously incompetent participant. Yes, there are some participants who do not have any scope for furthering their improvement. So we should avoid such type of participants in the training activity. Rambler participants who will always be complaining, and distractor participants who will create distractions because of various, say, as I said, using the mobile phone, playing with the aeroplanes made of this, papers, and they will be, or say, teasing the fellow participants, so that we create the problems and the ecosystem of the training activity. It is important to remember that difficult behavior can stem from a variety of factors, including personal issues. Why do the people disturb? Because of the personal issues with the trainer. It may be quite possible that the issue may be raised. The communication style of the learner may not be appropriate. The concerned person may find it difficult to communicate, or the situational stressors will be there where you are using the LCD projector and the projector may not work and the people start laughing. So in that situation, we have to find it difficult to manage the things. So, but if you go for dry run or the trial program, we have to take care of situational stressors, the communication style, and the personal issues, if any. That's why whenever we get the feedback, we get the profiling of the people as participants, we can understand who are the people who may create the problem. We will simply understand with reference to the qualifications, with reference to the education background, with reference to the experience, with reference to the past experience. We can understand what can be the issues with reference to the participants. Approaching the situation with empathy and the willingness to listen can help to de-escalate difficult behavior and find solutions that work for everyone. See, the trainer must be empathetic towards the participants and must be willing to listen. Whatever has been communicated, whatever has been said, must be grasped. Subsequently, we'll be talking as how to deal with such type of difficult people. So the focus must be on the empathy and listening capacity of the trainer. Stay calm and professional. Very profound suggestion. Exhibit professionalism in dealing. Keep your tone of voice neutral and avoid becoming defensive or argumentative. Trainer cannot afford to be argumentative with the participants. Logically, we can convince, but we have to be very, very particular. Whatever has been said, we have to incorporate that argument. We have to incorporate that issue, and we have to little bit give the twist so that the concerned issue may be diluted. So the trainer must be calm and cool and deal professionally. One should not go beyond the limits of the topic, beyond the limits of the subject matter. And for that purpose, second quality is listening actively. Listen carefully to their concerns and understand their perspective. Listen carefully to their consent and understand their perspective, as what has been raised by the participants may be of some use. Paraphrasing their comments to show that you are actively listening and seeing to understand their point of view. Many times the problem arises when the participants understand that the trainer is not ready to listen, not ready to acknowledge the things which have been narrated. So attention must be there, and at least the pretension must be there that the trainer is listening actively. Acknowledge their concerns, whatever they have been communicating. Show empathy and acknowledge that you understand why they might be upset or frustrated. Right. So that frustration level should not be in a difficult situation. Address the issue directly. Once you understand, address the issue directly and offer solutions or alternatives that may help resolve the issues. Many times this is the problem with the teachers also, and the trainer who is joining in the class in the training session becomes a teacher. So this issues are there, teacher has got relatively more power than the trainer. Trainer does not have any power. Only the moral power is there in the mind of the trainer. So टीचर का तो ये है ना कि वो अटेंडेंस डिबार कर देगा, बाहर निकालेगा. The trainer cannot afford. So we have to be very, very cautious, and we have to deal directly with the participants. In the same program, we have to deal with the feedback and monitoring of the training program. As I said, well in time, we have to set our objectives very much clear. And if the objectives are clear, then we can move very fascinately. So we have to get the feedback on the program. If we get the feedback and we revise and modify the program, that will be helping us. And throughout the session, we have to monitor the training activity. We have to collect the data about the participants, about the situation, about the feedback, so that it can be remedied. Provide timely feedback. It is equally important to give your feedback to the participants. Provide objective feedback, timely feedback to the point that whether they understood or not. And the objective feedback means, to great extent, what is the learning level. If it needs to be retrained them, we can suggest. And the same feedback is to be given to the HR professionals or the company, that is the client, about the feedback that the so and so persons are not serious, or the learning phase is little bit slow. So we have to go for alternative arrangement of the training. Feedback for improvement. We have to arrange the feedback for further improvement in the training activity. Use a variety of feedback methods. See, people do not find the time to give the feedback, but we, as the changed trainer today, we can use the assistance of the Google feedback form, because immediately it will be, can be given. And if it is a written feedback, then written feedback can also be ascertained to be ensured that all participants will be giving the feedback. Track progress of the participants, because horizontally a lot of time is taking place for the training activity. So we have to track the progress report of the participants, make adjustments as needed. On the basis of the feedback, as and when the feedback is there, we have to make the adjustment, and continuously the focus must be on the improvement. The salient features of the feedback, the purpose for which the training activity is taking place, it will help the receiver, the learner, to improve. The basic purpose is not to improve your activity, but to help the learner to improvise further. Effective feedback must be supportive, constructive, understandable, and well-timed. See, feedback has got two-way communication. If we get the feedback, from the participants about the training event, we are equally responsible to give the feedback to the client or to the trainer or to the trainees as how the learning activity could take place. So that effective feedback must be supportive, that should be encouraging, constructive, understandable, and well-timed. Timely it is to be given. It requires the trust. Let the participants trust you, and let you trusting the participants, so that the feedback can be having certain values, can be uncomfortable and threatening. It can be, because when it is given that the performance is not up to the mark, then people may feel uncomfortable. They may feel threatened about the feedback that it may be reported to the concerned officers. So, but still we have to use the proper language so that negative impact can be avoided. Giving feedback is an art. How can you give the feedback? We have to have our observations and not the interpretation. We have to put our observations. If we interpret that the concerned person is not understanding, our understanding is that he is coming from a different background, he is coming from a low educational background. Don't interpret. You have to give the exact feedback in terms of your observation. Description, not evaluation. You have to describe, don't evaluate. You have to describe the phenomenon. Specific. There are, general observations. We should avoid the general observations, and we should be very, very specific, because specific observations will need to be used so that improvement can be possible in the given area. Share ideas, then give advice. Share ideas. Do not give advice to change or to improve. But if you share the ideas, that will be helping for improvement. Ask questions, then statements. See, generally when we give the feedback, the states are given the training program, about the training program, that they are good, they are bad. No, ask questions. How could you learn? How did you learn? To what extent you are going to implement the learning value of the program? So if these questions are asked, that will be giving the real kind of feedback. Behavior, then personality. Never ever discuss the personality of the concerned participant. You have to observe the behavior. Provide as soon as possible. Immediately, you have to give the feedback as soon as you get the chance, of value and use to receiver. Let the receiver, let the participant be in the position to use it. To if it is not used properly, then it is of no use. And we have to understand that the feedback must be in the learning phase itself. Basically, that learning activity is to bring a change, and that feedback should also help us to bring a change. Direct but polite, specific and to the point, but directly to be addressed to the concerned individual, but it should be very, very polite. Present evidence. The trainers you can find are the successful when they are very much polite. They understand in between that something is wrong, but still they are polite, because they are not the judgmental people. They cannot give the judgment, but they have to give the observations. Present evidence. Either it is recorded, or you can observe, or you can get the feedback from the fellow participants to as the part of the evidence, that these are the observations which are based on the evidences to put forth. These are the facts, not opinion. Observation is different. Observation is on the basis of facts. Don't opine yourself about others. So the facts are to be narrated to the participants. It should be on behavior, not personality. Personality has got different cults. We should not talk about the personality. It should be on the behavioral aspect, as to what extent they are in mood to learn things. Point to specific behavior, meaning thereby that there may be some aberrations in the behavior. So whenever there is aberrations, the deviation, especially with reference to the difficult participants, we have to give the specific point of reference for understanding and changing. Observations, not interference. We have to give the observation. We should not infer what we have inferred. What observations have been made by us must be of having the inferential value for the trainer, for the participant. No value judgment. We should not go for any judgment. As the trainer, we have to use many instances of our day-to-day life. We cannot give any judgment, like to show the superiority of our own language, superiority of our own, say, community, superiority of our own organization. We should not add any value judgment. Whatever have been observed, that is to be cited in the class, provided as soon as possible, reinforced with reasons and clarifications. As we narrated about giving the feedback, we have to receive the feedback from the participants. Be positive to the feedback, value the help given. The feedback which is given by participants must be taken in the good spirit, as the sportsman spirit, because that will be helping us to change and make the changes in our training program to be followed in the due course of time. We have to listen, not to react. See, the communication part, problem with the communication part is that we believe that more and more skills that will be helping us to be effective communicator. No. See, anybody in the organization to the tune of 90%, 80% will be devoted for the communication. And out of this chunk, 90% of the communication takes shape when we listen carefully. So listening capacity must be developed. So as the trainer, the listening capacity should be adhered to. Try to see it from the giver's point of view. Whosoever gives the feedback as the learner is to be understood. If something may be missing and that is to be taken care of, we have to clarify and check your understanding. Clarify and check your understanding. If suppose some feedback is given, we have to understand. If suppose the things are not clear, we can cross check and we can take help from the feedback giver to understand the particular phenomenon. Compare with feedback from others, because the entire class of the participants will be giving the feedback. So we can compare who has given what type of feedback. So sometimes you find that there is central tendency of the feedback. Still, there's some deviation will be there. We have to understand if certain deviation is coming in the form of feedback. Ask for details if not given. Because the feedback is given in the slang language, we can ask for the witness, we can ask for the evidence, we can ask for the details of the particular feedback. That will be helping us. Explore options. If the feedback is given, we can understand how can it be made further useful. How can we use it again? So further explorations can be then decide future course of action on the basis of the feedback system which we have been getting and which we will be giving to the people. When we carry forward the activities, we have to go for post-training engagement with the trainees. What happens? The tragedy with the training activities that we impart the training and we leave them to settle on their own. So that's why there happens to be a lip sympathy for the training activity. Post-training engagement, it is important to ensure that participants are able to apply what they have learned in the work, and they have to reinforce the key messages of the training program, and to ensure that our training program has a lasting impact and helps drive business success. It is very simple that we have to keep a track record of the learners. We have to understand that whenever they go at the workplace, they will be implementing the same learning value which we have taught. The tips for making it effective, especially the training activity to be effective, we have to be engaging people even after the training. The follow-up communication means you have to communicate with the people by expressing our thanks for participation. We can also request them to come forward for any feedback. We can also ask them to solve their problems with the help of the trainer, whatever it is. So that will be helping to develop the communication, and that communication will be helping us to go for furthering the business prospects in the same company or in the company where the concerned trainee will be going out. Peer-to-peer discussions. We can also involve that after the training activity is over, the fellow participants, the managers or the people who are supporting us, the people coming from the company, especially the HR people who are sitting there, we can get peer-to-peer discussion so that we can get the improvement if needed. Mentoring of the trainees. The participants are there. We have to provide our mentoring, because we can request them if they feel any type of problem. The counseling, coaching, and mentoring needed, and that way it will be helping them to develop the personal touch. We still remember our trainers who were having our mentors, and we had the personal mentoring activities with them. Performance support. If suppose the training has been imparted, they find it difficult to operationalize, then we can help them to improve the performance. So performance support can also be there. Say, for example, on the shop floor level, if the training has been imparted by the technical person and they find it difficult to use the couplings differently, then by physically demonstrating that performance, we can help them to use the imparted training in the real right performance. We have to measure the success. Means whatever the training impact has been there, it is to be measured so that we can understand that from this level to that level, the training could take place. Recognize the success. Whosoever has been learning well must be recognized, must be reckoned with. One of the important issues when you talk about the implementation of the training activity, we have to understand about the coordination with the trainers. training managers have to coordinate meetings with the trainers. See, training managers are the group of people who will be managing the training activities, especially when it is the in-house training. The training managers or the HR persons who are dealing with the training activity will be coordinating the meetings with the trainers. Trainers may be from in-house or from outside. So, or if it is outsourced, then we have to make the meetings and ask them as how the things are to be moved. What is needed for excellent output from the meetings? That if you meet the trainers, we can make a pool of the people, participants, stakeholders to attend. Whenever there is a meeting, the stakeholders must attend this particular activity so that the coordination can be developed. Meeting management. See, managing the meetings is equally important. So we have to manage the meeting with whom? Meetings with the trainers, their expectations, some queries will be there. So that is to be again highlighted in the meeting, linkages between meeting output and process and the task performance. When we meet the trainers and we really expect certain expectations, then that is to be matched with the task performance. Meaning thereby, if we coordinate with the trainers, we can give the feedback to the trainers about the participants. You can simply ask them that the scope of the training activity must be on particular lines. Then, what's about the meetings? Basically, the meetings are equally important activities. Meetings for the coordination. If you are meeting again and again, it is for better coordination. Before meeting is to take place. Before meeting, we have to take action, like arrangement of the meeting place, meeting people. Action during the meeting, some sort of feedback system is to be given. Action after the meeting. So that meeting part is equally important when we go for the training activity. Meeting with the trainers, meeting with the HR professionals, meeting with the concerned people, meeting with the representative of the participants. So all these activities are needed to be discussed in the coordination activity. Equally important is the coordination with the trainers. We have to communicate properly, effectively, as what is expected from the trainers. We have to provide the training materials to the learners. So we have to understand from the trainers as how the training program, how the training content is to be delivered, to be prepared and delivered to the learners. Establish clear timeline. The trainer will be helping us to develop the content, so that is to be prepared on time. If you understand, we have to send the things which have been dealing here. The content is to be delivered to the headquarters, and the headquarters will be sending it back to the participants. So we have to use that content effectively, establish a clear timeline, meaning thereby that there is a time lag which is to be ensured and checked in regularly. We have to provide the feedback to the trainers, because sometimes we do not provide the feedback to the trainers and trainers will be repeatedly using the same mistakes. So if we give the feedback to the trainers, so that will be helping. So the coordination with the trainers is equally important. See, we can cite our examples. Whenever the training program is going on, certain stakeholders there who will be meeting in between. There will be meeting after the session is over in the day, or after the training program is over. They will be sitting and will be having the training meeting with the trainers. That will be helping to design it further. Encourage collaboration and recognize and reward. Whosoever may be the right person must be recognized that the training could make the sense. If we really want to make the training program successful, we have to be quite cautious. But before that, one important aspect is also to be added here. There is ice breaking sessions. Any program needs to break the ice, meaning thereby the monotony is there. When we launch the program, start the program, certain exercises, certain games are to be played. And these exercises will be creating the environment easily. The easy environment and the atmosphere is created, the ecosystem will be quite friendly, and that ice breaking sessions may take place in the form of a game, in the form of exercises, in the form of some sort of fun, some sort of gimmicks, some sort of spontaneous activity. So that will be quite helpful in providing the different ice breaking activity. It may start in the form of conversations or meetings with the people at the time of tea, or it may be some sort of exercises, but exercises will be quite useful for the activities. If we make the training program effective, then there are certain principles which have to be taken care of. We have to define our clear goals and objectives of the training program. As in all the academic lessons, you have been asked to go for the clarity of the objectives and the goal. Identify the target audience which are to be taught or which are to be trained. Design engaging training materials. Contents are important, equally important. So the contents in the form of study material is to be developed with reference to the availability, with reference to the competence of the target audience and the set objective. Select appropriate delivery methods. Many times online delivery system is there, sometimes offline delivery system is there. Certain cases, case study methods can also be adopted. So what is the level of the case study method, whether it is to be given in advance or in the spontaneously, people have to read the case material. So methodology of the delivery will altogether be different. It can be a lecture method, case study method, business exercise, games, simulation, whatever form may be, but it is the method which is to be appropriately selected for the given structure. Choose experienced trainer. Versatile trainer must be there. He or she may be of high caliber, but the appropriateness of the trainer must be there. Provide necessary resources. The trainer needs to be equipped with the gadgets, with the contents, with the material, and with all sort of profiling of the people so that they can understand. Deliver training effectively. How the effective training can be imparted? Depending upon the type of the training, type of the situation, type of the aura being seen, and ultimately we have to evaluate the effectiveness and provide ongoing support. We have to give support to the learners so that they can implement the same things. Interactive training program. Let the training program be creative. The monotonous learning program should be avoided. Say the problem with the online activities that the interactive sessions cannot be possible as it is possible in the face-to-face offline training program. So for that purpose, what efforts should be made? Interactive training program means use a variety of instructional methods. We can impart the training through various methods, like a lecture method or the case study method or the games, but instructional method must be of a variety. Encourage participation. More and more people be readily available for participation, for discussion. Use real world scenario. Whatever has been there in the world of the reality in the concerned industry or in the concerned society, in the industry, we have to use the real life examples, real life scenario. Create a comfortable learning environment. That the environment must be congenial and friendly. It should not be threatening. कई बार ऐसा होता है कि ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम में ढंग से नहीं किया तो आप फेल हो जाएंगे. So that failure syndrome must be avoided. Use multimedia. We can use the multimedia in the sense to make the things pragmatic and applicable. Online methodology, multimedia, story, visualization, cartoons, write-ups, blackboard, and so on and so forth may be the media to be used for the training activity. Provide opportunity for the reflections. Whatever has been taught must be reflected in their behavior, in their action. So it should be reflected. Use group work. See, as I said, it is easy for a person to do the individual work, but very difficult to work in a team, especially in Indian context. We find the team building is very difficult. So efforts should be made to assign the particular exercise or the work to be completed in the group, so that the group cohesiveness can be enhanced and people learn how to work in a team and provide feedback. Meaning thereby that if you give the feedback to the learners, then it will be of immense use to them. Finally, key is to create a dynamic and collaborative learning environment that encourages participation and fosters active learning. So the trainer is simply facilitator. Trainer is not the guru who can be, injecting the things. If there is collaborative learning, it will be helping for a better learning scenario. We have to understand the first impression is the last impression in the training activity. The positive first impression in the training means that you have to prepare very well. First impression that the teacher or the trainer who is coming in the class, in the training session, must be well prepared, dressed appropriately. No filthy clothes, a formal, appropriate dress must be there. ऐसा नहीं हो कि ट्रेनर जो है ऐसी ड्रेस पहन के आ गया जिसमें हंसी का पात्र बन रहा हो, बिना अनआयरन आपका कपड़े पहन के आ गया हो, या ये कि जो कैजुअल मतलब जो घर में जो कैजुअल कपड़े पहनते वो पहन के आ गया हो. ऐसा नहीं. Always have the tendency to arrive early and to be prepared. If the time is allotted before 2 minutes before commencement of the program, the trainer must be readily available. It is also applicable to the participants. Smile and make eye contacts. Generally, the participants have got the tendency to get rid of the situation and they don't make it. But you as the trainer have to make the eye contact with each and everyone present there with a smiling face. Introduce yourself and set expectations. Right in the beginning, you set the expectations that we are expecting this to be done from the participants so that the learning can take place. Be enthusiastic and engaging. Always keep yourself engaged, and enthusiastic language is to be used. In the tone, in the voice, in the body language, you should be enthusiastic, be respectful and inclusive. Means you are incorporating all the people, acknowledge the contribution to be given by all the participants. So that we find that the first impression is the last impression. You have to give the feedback to the participants, which will be all depending on the impression you have got. Same thing happens with reference to you as the trainer. The first impression is that you are well prepared, your training program is well groomed, and you are reaching on time, and the training room is quite congenial, and you have prepared very well, and the objectives are set well in advance. So we have to talk with reference to all these issues. These are the things which we wanted to discuss in this, event management of the training activity. So just I'm collaborating these two aspects. Event management is a larger perspective, which is generally part of the day-to-day life today, and that managing the training activity as part of the event is equally important. So if we undertake the training activity, let it be treated as the event, and that will be helping us to give the better impression about all these things. So these are things, Ajay, which I wanted to share with you people. So we can have the collaboration of these two aspects. What is the theoretical framework of the event, and what is the real time execution of the activities here on part of the training activity. With this note, I stop here, and I'll be very happy if certain points are raised so that we can further discuss on the same lines.
Sir, just wanted to understand about this dry run and pilot project. You said that dry run is also to be taken in people with less number of participants, and pilot also needs to be taken with less number of participants. So,
very good question. See, dry run means that before commencement of the training program, we have to give the demonstration. Demo program is to be launched within a limited group of people. Like before the real audience is there, we are, demonstrating this program within ourselves. As the trainer, I can get the recording of the same program. That is the dry run. Nobody is there as the participants. But in case of the pilot training program, we can simply say selectively some persons as the participants will be selected. And that is the real life situation where the training has already been started. It has already been imparted. And that participants will be the real to get the feedback. So pilot project means before we launch for say thousands of people in the company, because many times thousands of people are to be trained. Like in case of human rights, we have to train for human rights. But before that, we will be picking up 30% who will be sought on the trial basis. They will be the real life participants. So that will be pilot project can be helping us to get the feedback. And this in dry run means nobody is going to be from the participant side. That is the basic difference. Thank you.
So dry run is basically to prepare ourselves, and pilot project is to understand if that program is impactful or not on a smaller audience, so we can launch it to a larger audience.
Absolutely, absolutely. And see, we are the first program will be with the first program, it will be continuously going on. So the pilot project means it is the sample of the activity to be started in the company. So pilot project means that so that we can get the feedback with reference to the modification needed, we can use it. And the dry run is for our acknowledgement.
Is everything going on time and everything as per our schedule?
Absolutely. Anybody else from the participant side? Jigar Saab, where are you working right now?
I am with Sun Pharmaceuticals.
Oh, Sun Pharma, a great company. Leading
Yeah,
company pharma
Mr.
in the
Patik
country.
Win knows you.
Sorry?
Mr. Patik Win, he has known you. He said he knows you.
Oh, great. Yeah. Because some people from your company have been connected with our ISD national headquarters.
Yes. Ramanathan is also part of it.
Yeah. So anything else to be corroborated with, or any feedback? So our this course is almost over. We will be engaging one more class, and that particular course, paper number 8, will be over. So that will be the next Sunday, most probably, setting with reference to the NHQ. So with this note, we can come to the conclusion part and we can wind up today's session.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you,
Jigar sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye.